This is something I want to put out to the spiritual community, more the Buddhist community. There's three philosophies of Buddhism, and I think in this country we only really focus on the first two, and we have a kind of distorted image, a distorted perception of the first two, because we don't know what the third one is, because it's not one that we like. Obviously the first one is the concept of karma, the idea that your actions will result in a reaction which is either positive or negative based on your action. The second one is reincarnation, which is the idea that you don't die and you'll come back and you'll be reincarnated as something or someone else. But the third one that never really gets talked about is the concept of the selfless, the lack of self, the fact that the self does not exist inherently. We don't like the idea that that we have to put down the ego. Like we want to keep the ego, we want to keep the karma, and we want to keep reincarnation because they're the good bits. But now the problem I have with this is that without the third one, the first two don't make sense. When you take selflessness out of the equation, karma cannot be understood the way it's supposed to be understood, in my opinion. Karma is not something that you can personally own. It's not something that's yours. That's the whole point in karma. It's just the things you do. They're not yours to own. It's not your action, and therefore your reactions that happen to you. It's what you do, and then therefore what happens, but not necessarily what happens to you. It's just what happens. If we all do things, it doesn't just affect us. It affects everyone, and that's the point. That's the point in karma. It's all about action. It's about putting things out there that affect other people, and they may not actually affect you. People believe it's your karma. You do the thing. If you punch someone in the face, they're going to punch you back, but that's not necessarily the point. The point is that if you punch someone, it may put them in a bad mood. This may affect someone else they know or their day, and it just has a snowball effect. Now, none of these things may not actually come back to you, but the whole point is, if there is no you in the first place, then, well, you can't own karma. Karma can't come back to you necessarily. It's just that it goes out to everything, and you are a part of everything, and that's what it means to be selfless. The second is reincarnation. People believe that when you die, that you will come back, and again, if the selflessness is a part of the equation in the philosophy, how can that self die, and then how can that self become something else? That doesn't make any sense. In Buddhism, we teach that the self is nothing more than an accumulation of various different environmental factors and interpretations of them environmental factors. Like, you're not you because you choose to be you, but you are you because you're just a simple expression of everything that's created you, whether it's your genetics, your environment, your culture, your memories, your parents, your friends, your understanding, what people have taught you, what you've remembered. All these things contribute to who you are, but none of them are in direct control. You're not in direct control of any of these aspects of you, but somehow these things come together to make you. Without the self, if we accept that the self does not exist, and then we look at reincarnation, what you see is something completely different. You see reincarnation not as you coming back, but it's what you leave behind. Again, it ties in with karma, that it's not yours, it's everybody's. We all share the same thing, and it's how we contribute to that one thing. So when you die, what you come back as isn't one thing. You break down and become a series of other things that aren't yours, aren't anyone else's, but they're everyone's. I guess it's kind of the idea that everything that makes you isn't yours, and it's everyone else's. Everyone else is made out of everything else. There is no individual one thing. There is no one thing that is itself and nothing else than that. A good way to describe this would be if you think of a bubble in a glass of water, in the middle of the water, just hovering. You could say that the bubble exists of itself. It is air. That's what it is. That's what it contains. It contains air. But the bubble would not be there if the water wasn't there. The water has to be there, the sort of environmental condition, to force the bubble into being what the bubble is. Now, it's not to say that the bubble isn't anything itself. It is something itself. It's the air, but it's also not the water. But they're a part of the same thing. The one needs the other one to continue existing. If we take the water away, you take the bubble away. If you take the bubble of air away, you just have water.